What's up, everybody? It's the Bipolar Prophet, and welcome back to Old Ridge Farm and Farming Simulator 15. So first of all, I want to apologize for the lack of videos on the channel over the last few days. I've got a bit of a personal issue going on that, believe it or not, even though I share almost everything with you guys, I kind of want to keep this one personal, you know? But it's been affecting my ability to make videos, and I do apologize for that. But, you know, as I always say, and as you hear most YouTubers say, real life has to come first, and in this case, my real life had to come first over videos. The crisis has not been averted, but I want to make videos. It's a good distraction for me. Today is Tuesday. You guys will probably see this on Thursday. Tomorrow, being Wednesday, you guys will see the multiplayer on High Peak Farm with Shawnee B and Mere Man that we recorded on Monday. It took a long time to render and everything, so I didn't get a chance to get it up today, but you guys will see it. There will also be some other stuff coming down the pipe, you know, another Court Farms or the last Court Farms and some other stuff. I've got to make up for the lack of videos over the last few days. You know, it's just one of those things. And I appreciate all your support and all your, you know, all your loyalty and everything else. It really means a ton to me. As you can see, I've got Perry over here on field 5, ripping the corn stubble with our new disc. You know, this is something I wanted to do. We're getting closer to getting, you know, winter's just right there. We're right on the edge of winter now. And I want to get all this late autumn, early winter stuff done so that I can, you know, go on for a few 3-4 days of winter, you know, quote unquote, and then move on into spring, and we can get into all the real groundwork, get into all the you know, the fertilization and the turning and all that, and the planting and all that stuff. Also, if you watched Reefy 1952's last video on Old Ridge, he had mentioned that the council, he had gone to the council, we'd sort of elected him our spokesman, all the farmers in the area had elected him our spokesman, and he had gone to the council and he had won us permission to use our meadows, or not our meadows, but the meadows, for 1 year. I mean, he called me to tell me, I think I was still on the phone with him. I was backing the tractor up to the mowers, and I was running around cutting meadows. The grass is not great, but they needed to be cut so that we can then prepare them for next season so that the grass will be better. And if we tab around here, oh, and I was right there, damn it. One thing I want to do in this episode, once I get back around to it, is spread slurry on all the meadows. So we're going to use our new double twin shift here with our injector or drag hose. One thing we realized about this thing, we took it out for a test run, is that there's a relay that operates the drag hose part that tells the engine management computer of the tractor how fast it should go to put down the correct amount of liquid on whatever you're spraying on. And that seems to be stuck open because we can only go 10 miles an hour even when this isn't running, when the pumps are off, when the PTO is disengaged and everything else. I don't have time to go get it fixed right now, but I have told Chad, he told me to bring it down. He'll take a look at it, either replace the part, give me a new one, maybe order a different implement or whatever. But for right now, because, you know, it is getting closer to winter, I need to get this done. So what I'm going to do starting off here is I'm going to fill this up. I've got plenty of slurry, so that's not going to be a problem. You can see up there on the animal HUD, we have 275,000-ish liters of slurry. So normally we hook this up to the CVX, the bigger case, so hopefully this will not be an issue with the smaller case pulling it. I don't think it will be. It should be okay. You know, it was nice to get the news about the grass. You know, whether or not I hope I didn't jump the gun. I hope there wasn't some sort of time, you know, that we could actually start. Where are my pedals? There. We could actually start mowing. I was just like, you know what? I want to get the grass off the field because for the game, as you guys are probably aware with soil mod, you have to, you really can't do anything with grass once it's at the fully grown stage. It just doesn't, you know, it won't. Nothing you do will affect it. So you have to cut it back down to stage 1, and then, you know, apply all your nutrients and whatnot. So you can see here now, I've got my foot to the floor. We are only going 10 miles an hour because the relay on the slurry sprayer is telling the engine management computer that it's stuck open, and it only wants to go 10 miles an hour. So, but like I said, I don't have time to fix it right now. Now, what does that mean in the game? It means in the game that the connection between, you know, the mod, there's something in the mod that is telling the rest of the mod that it's working, and it's not. Now, can I go into the XML and take a look at that? Maybe. Oh, I wanted to show you this too. If we just jump out for a second, you can see we're down to $32,000, and that's because I put up another shed over here for the cows. It's not fully enclosed, but it's enclosed enough to get them out of the wind, to get them out of the rain, and everything else. You know, so I figured, I call the steel building people again. They always have a lot of these components of steel buildings laying around that they want to sell, especially now that winter's coming and nobody's doing a lot of construction. I do a lot of business with them. They were more than willing to give me a good deal on it, so that's what I did. I got a couple other things I want to do with the meadows, with the cows come springtime again. But for right now, that will get us through the winter, and I won't have to worry about my cows getting sick, getting cold, and all that sort of stuff. So the first meadow we're going to head down to is the pig and beef meadow at, a leisurely clip of 10 miles an hour. So it's too bad. Again, this particular rear implement, this particular injector, I don't believe was specifically made for this slurry tanker, so that could be part of the problem. It could believe that it's on all the time, even though it's not, I don't know that for certain. It's obviously some sort of mod problem, and probably what the resolution will be me just switching to a different rear implement, because with grass, you can cultivate grass, but on this map, I haven't had that issue, I just prefer to do it this way. I don't want to splash plate it because, a lot of the meadows that I own, that I grow grass on, are near houses. There's an odor issue, there's a runoff issue, there's, slurry, unless you really enjoy it, like I do, is not pleasant for people who don't deal with it every day. So this is a better system all in all to do it with. Now, as I mentioned, this grass is not in great shape. It hasn't been maintained in a couple of years. It's been, well, for me, it's been almost 2.5 years since we've been allowed to cut these meadows. So, again, it's, it's a catch-22. We had to cut them. We had to pull the grass off them. The grass wasn't in great shape, but it was something. So now it's really just trying to get the meadows back into a productive state for next year. I'm glad the council finally came around about this. Apparently the Crawford Browns were once again not in attendance. Nobody's really seen them. We don't know what they're up to. And that makes me nervous because I'm just afraid that when they settle their stuff out, they're going to come back with a vengeance and we're all going to suffer for it. So you may also have heard about his lordship passing away and Charles, sort of being the the support system for her ladyship, which is great. I've met his lordship a couple of times. He was a little stiff for me, as you would expect. He wasn't. I don't know. I don't want to be unfair to him. It just seemed like he wasn't thrilled that I was an American. But he was polite and he was he was a decent enough guy. But her ladyship, on the other hand, is great. She's very upfront, very direct, and I want to send my condolences to them and their family, for the loss of a great man. So, okay, now here's one thing with this thing. All you really have to do is lower it, and off you go, and we're spreading the slurry. Now, this is going to be a lot of trips back and forth. I can probably go a little faster because there's no need to go really slow. Because, like I said, the relay's stuck open, so it's only going to let me go 10 miles an hour anyway. You can see, looking at the soil mod HUD, that there's hardly any moisture, there's hardly any nutrients in this. These are all going to need to be limed as well, which I may do in this episode as well. I may slurry them all and lime them all just to try to get the soil back to some level of productivity that I can get enough grass off them. If we can cut these, then I'm absolutely going to cut them. That will save me from having to plant a field strictly with grass in it, for my cows and for my other animals for that matter. Because, obviously I need silage, I need, hay and all that stuff. So one good thing about this barrel is, and I should have probably put out the wheels, but for grass, it's not really that big of a deal. I would do it if I was on a regular field. One thing about this barrel is it holds quite a bit of slurry, so, I should hopefully be able to do this field, this meadow with one pass, and then we'll go back and fill it up. I could always go over and fill it up at the cow, the pig and beef facility too. I always forget there's slurry there, and there's quite a bit of slurry over there now because I've never used it. I always just use the dairy slurry, but there's a lot of slurry capacity on this farm, which is nice because it's nice to have. It's a once you sort of get past the initial outlay of what the animals cost, what it costs to feed them, and the labor and all that, it's a good almost free fertilizer. So I think I might focus on this for this episode. Get these slurries meadowed. Get these slurries meadowed. What? Get these meadows slurried. Get them lined up. And then, of course, I'm going to have to let a day pass, or 2 days pass, so that Soil Mod can, make its appropriate changes. And then we'll see what else these meadows need. Obviously, they're going to need PK. can't water yet. Still haven't got the word on the watering. As you guys are probably aware, it's been raining like crazy all around us, but not here. So one good thing about that is that although it hasn't been raining here, the rain is still working its way into the ground, into the aquifers, into the underground reservoirs and everything. So there's a pretty good chance from what we've all been hearing and what we've been talking about that we will be allowed to do some limited irrigation of our crops in the spring. So that will be great. You know, maybe the drought won't be so much of an issue this time around, this season, you know, this year, which would be wonderful because, as you guys know, as I sort of laid out in the last episode, you know, the drought, it could have been much, much worse. We were pretty lucky that this is very fertile ground to begin with. And, you know, if this ground had been any sort of issue, you know, to start with, the yields on everything would have been much, much worse. So he's slipping. Let me guess. He's stuck on that one tree over there that I haven't moved, you know, because I didn't want to completely deforest those fields. Oh, he figured it out. Very good. I really want to get that stubble ripped in, you know. Again, for the game, does it matter? Not at all. But it's something that happens in real life, so I wanted to simulate it. I wanted to emulate it, you know. It just makes sense for me. You know, I'm trying to move towards a more realistic you know, way of farming. Again, with me, you're always going to see stuff that makes you go, what? You know, but I'm trying, especially on Old Ridge. So, what else? We are rapidly closing up on the 100th episode of Old Ridge Farm. Today is the 2nd of February, so in about 5 days, it will be one solid year that I have been on Old Ridge Farm in real life. So, and that's all down to you guys, and I want to thank every single one of you for everything you guys have said about this series, about, you know, the how much you guys like it, how much you guys enjoy it, how much you guys enjoy the story, you know. And of course, the story would not be what it is without, you know, David Oldfield, who really got it all started, without Mike, who picked up the ball and ran, you know, 1,000 yards with it, without Sean, who came along and, you know, and joined in. It would not be the same without guys like Ian Blake and JD Vlogger and, you know, and everybody else who've gotten involved in this story. I want to thank each and every one of you. I've got something special planned for the 100th episode. I know I'm going to have fun with it. Hopefully you guys will too. I don't want to give it away, but you will have to stay tuned for that. Yep, should not have any issue doing this last little bit here with what's in the tank now. So now, if I was slick, I'd use GPS, right, and do this from inside the cab. But you know what? I don't know why. You know, I see so many other people using GPS, and it's a great mod, and it's a great tool, and it's very realistic because if you have a modern tractor, chances are it's going to have GPS built into it, right? We all know that. But for some reason on this farm, I always tend to want to do everything by hand. So, or manually, you know what I mean? And is this efficient? Probably not, but I enjoy it. So, you know, again, and I say this all the time, we get into some of the big fields in this area, I may go to, you know, more GPS, more stuff like that. And I could have had Courseplay do this, but I wanted to do it for myself because I enjoy this. So, all right, just fold that up, and we will go and refill. Might as well refill it right here, I guess. Make sure it's all the way folded before I try to go through this gate. Because, you know, if Chad does decide to give me, you know, another implement or whatever, take this one back and send it back and have it fixed, or however he decides to do it. I don't want to give it back to him all smashed up. So, but geez, BP, you know, I'm trying to help you out here, and you bring this back to me all bent and twisted and everything. What am I supposed to do with that? You know, just a lot of galvanized piping that, you know, he'll be kind of stuck with. So. I know there's plenty of slurry in here because you can actually see it. It takes quite a bit before you can actually see it down there in the retention tank. So, might as well just use it while we're here. Fill it back up. Switch to that. Hit R. Fill it up. I'm curious. Yeah, there's a bunch in here. I bet it would tell me if I did this. Yeah, 35,000 liters. You know, not a super amount, but quite a bit. Certainly enough to fill this up. So, and a couple of these meadows are really small too, so it's not going to take, you know, it's not going to take hundreds of thousands of liters to fill them up. And obviously, you can see I have the 4 retention tanks, so plenty. How much is in this one? 40,000. So yeah, so plenty of slurry. Plus this. Whoops, I always do that. I always catch that gate. plenty of slurry in the pig facility as well. So I think finally, and excuse me for the cough, I think finally the slurry and manure issue has been sort of sorted. I think I might finally have enough left now, enough overall of everything to do all my fields, to do all the, the muck spreading and the slurrying that I want to do. So one thing about this meadow is the entrance is way down here, and at 10 miles an hour, it takes a little while to get here. But again, I don't have time to bring this to shed. I need to use this. I can't splash plate, so I don't have another implement I can hook to this. So I'm kind of stuck with it for the moment. I know the tractor's not thrilled with it. It's kicking up all kinds of errors, in my engine management computer and everything. That's one thing about modern tractors. When they have the connections between the implements and the tractor, so that the implement and the tractor can talk to each other, and if something goes wrong, well, then your tractor's like, this isn't right. I know, just deal with it. Back in the day, this wouldn't be a problem. You'd flick a switch, or you'd pull a lever, you'd crank something, open a valve, and off you'd go. Now it's all computers, it's all electronic, so it's just one of those things you kind of have to deal with. It is a little maddening, though, to have your foot on the floor and not, and only be going 10 miles an hour. So if I disconnect this implement, works just fine. Okay, I'm going to jump out here now. And you know what? Just because we can, we might as well unfold this, right? Unfold that. And, whoops. One more time to there. Not the lights. Unfold that. Get into position. This meadow is not very big. I think I might have got 12 bales off all the meadows, the new meadows that I cut, because the grass was just in bad shape. This one wasn't as horrible as maybe you would expect, but it wasn't great either. So, and that's the whole idea of this. Get them all back to a productive state, so that they make as much grass as possible. I don't need that anymore. And be able to use the grass. The grass does no good if it goes back to its sort of natural state where it's all thistles and everything. First of all, it's ugly. Second of all, it's not doing any good. You know what I mean? Let the grass do some good, and I'm glad the council finally came around to understanding that. So. And plus, we're going to make the grass better anyway. So, I mean, certainly, all the farmers in the area, and most of us are have a dairy of some sort. Whether it's big, small, or whatever, we all have found alternative ways to feed our animals, because regardless, you still have to feed them. That is an absolute must. They have to eat. They have to eat the right stuff. They have to eat quality stuff. They have to be maintained, not just for milk production, but for their, overall well-being, and that's important. The eco-terrorism that goes on sometimes, and I say that, it bothers me because people think, oh, you mistreat your animals and blah, blah, blah. I can tell you one thing. My animals, I just spent $20,000 to put up another shed for my cows to get in out of the wind and the rain and everything. You know what I mean? If I didn't have to do that, nobody forced me to do that. There are no laws that say I had to do that. I could pasture my cows all winter if I wanted to. I just choose not to because it's not good for their well-being. You know what I mean? And it's a win-win for me because I have happy, healthy cows that produce the maximum amount of milk they can produce. They're going to live as long as they can live. They're going to be productive for as long as they can be. They're not going to be sick. It's not going to cost me extra money and in all kinds of immunizations and vet bills and everything else. And it's good for the animals, and that really is the bottom line. So anybody who thinks, and I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who do mistreat their animals, but anybody who thinks that farmers are cruel or mean or anything else don't really know how it works. You know what I mean? These animals are tools. Yes, they are money makers for us, but we are also stewards of them. You know what I mean? And it is our responsibility to take care of them. So I've just been reading so much stuff about the uber environmentalists who say, oh, you shouldn't, dairy is mean and and beef cattle is mean and you shouldn't eat anything with a face and all this other stuff. Again, everybody is certainly entitled to their own opinion, and mine is such that I believe that's all nonsense. So. But again, you are entitled to, if you hold that opinion, you are certainly entitled to it. It just isn't going to change mine any. Okay, so that's that. Now, one thing about this meadow is that the pH isn't bad because the soil moisture didn't drop down to nothing on this field, so that's a good thing. There's a little bit of moisture left in here. There's a little bit of PK, no N, but you wouldn't expect it. Grass is very nitrogen. Nitrogen doesn't really stick in grass very well because of the sort of structure of grass. It tends to leach out. It tends to run off, So, to be honest, I probably would have been better served in real life to spread muck on these meadows as opposed to slurry. But in the game, it doesn't matter, so. Okay, now we can take the long ride up to the other meadow. Now, I didn't cut every single meadow, I should point out. I did leave the meadow over by my old storage yard fallow. Well, not fallow, but I did leave it alone. I didn't cut it. I am planning on cutting that first thing in the spring and repeating this process. I just didn't want to do it now. I wanted to leave one meadow sort of alone, leave it the way that, it was intended to be. And see, it's sort of an experiment. I want to see what a natural state of grass will produce. You know what I mean? It was just a curiosity thing for me more than anything. I'm not in desperate need of the grass or the hay right at this moment. So I've got plenty of silage. I've got, quite a bit of hay bales left. Straw, as always, is probably going to be an issue. Hopefully I will not run out of straw like I generally do. So, I do have straw to bring back from Court Farm. I do have hay to bring back from Court Farm. So I should be okay for the winter. And I'll definitely be okay with the silage. I'll have silage for quite a while, actually. So, in fact, probably what I'll end up doing is I'll probably end up selling one pit of it to the BGA. I would like to not to have two pits of it. You can see we're up to 120 cows right now. Still building the herd. I'm still waffling between 150 and 200 cows. I may go as high as 200. I don't know. But if I do, I'm going to have to give them another pasture. And probably what it's going to be is it'll be the field directly behind their second meadow now. I'll just, I'll cut that off. I'll grass it. Open up the hedges so that they can get through. And they'll have 3 meadows to pasture on. And that should be plenty, to sustain my herd. So. Now, in the game, that's going to require, obviously, me, going into the game, into Giants Editor, recreating the cow zone, so that they can move over there. But I've done that a couple of times as a test, and it seemed to work, so. Oh, Slurry Tanker, you're killing me at this 10 miles an hour thing. I mean, the speed limit's only 30 down here anyway, but 10 is really slow. But, oh well, it is what it is, so. I also have quite a few eggs to sell, I just noticed. I should probably sell those. Thinking about buying some more chickens, too, but it seems like everything else kind of comes first. It would be neat if there was a way, and I don't know that there isn't, and if you guys, maybe you guys know, is there one of these things for chickens? Is there like a rearing sort of deal for chickens where you can, oh, there is, isn't there? The Marhu one. I'm just talking to myself now, right? And I just figured it out. I don't know if it's for Farming Simulator 15, though. I know there was one for Farming Simulator 13. I may have to go over there and check. Because that would be neat, to be able to... I think you fill it up with eggs, and then after a certain amount of days, you get chickens. And they go into the chicken... into your chicken... flock. So, what's the right word for chickens? Is it flock? Doesn't sound right. I don't know if it's flock or not. What's the right... if any of you are chicken farmers, you can let me know what the right term for multiple chickens is. I don't know. Oh, for some reason, it just completely slipped my mind. So, look up there in the real time mod. It's one of those rare times where the Old Ridge time and the real time are almost in sync. It's about 2:30, 20 minutes of 3 in the real world, and it's about 2:30 in Old Ridge. So, that's pretty neat. Already 24 minutes, and this wouldn't have taken so long if I could, rip down through the village at the, my normal 25, 30 miles an hour. But because I can only go 10, everything takes longer. And Perry is done. Well, you could just have a little break there, Perry. Take your afternoon break. I want to get this last meadow slurried up. Then I think I'm going to grab... how do I want to do this? If I put the sprayer on and spray liquid lime, there's a good chance I wash all that slurry off. If I spray powdered lime, I'm not going to get any moisture benefit. But you know what? I think yeah, granular lime is going to be the way to go. Plus, I haven't used my sprayer in a very long time, so I mean my spreader, my spinner. So probably wouldn't be a bad idea to do it that way. This may be a little bit of a longer video. Again, I'm not going to worry about it's 20 minutes, gotta go. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what I set out to do in the beginning of the episode, and then get it done and move on to the next thing. So if the episodes are half an hour, 40 minutes, that's just kind of how it is. Again, I completely understand, and I do want to try to get these episodes, at a reasonable length so that you guys can watch them in one sitting. If you can't, I fully understand that. I know I have about 40 videos to catch up on from everybody because the last few days I haven't really even been on the computer. I haven't wanted to sit here, and you may have seen I put up a picture, a screenshot that I was kind of messing around with in GIMP, editing it and whatnot. But I wasn't really in the mood to sit at the computer for a whole bunch of time. So, where is this opening to this field? I forgot about this meadow. I forgot I cut this meadow. Oh no, this meadow was all set. That is meadow 8. Yep, okay. I was like, wait a minute, where's that meadow? But that's meadow 8. That's one of my original meadows. I already took care of that, so all set. We just need to go down here and get into this this one by the garden center and take care of that one. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the entrance is down here. Been so long since I've been allowed on these meadows, I forget how to get in and out of them. Is this the entrance right here? It is. Excellent. Right over here by that massive field of lag. All that withered alfalfa. Which, I tell you what, I don't know who owns that field, but I'd be more than glad to cut that, or cultivate it under for them, just so the lag goes away. Oh, and I went all the way down the road with it extended. That's nice. Jeez, BP. This is what happens when you give BP nice equipment to use, This is a tiny little meadow, but you know what? Any little bit will help. The soil moisture isn't bad, no N, no PK, obviously no weeds and grass, so. This will take probably one pass of this thing around, and that will be that. This meadow doesn't look like it's going to need any lime either, so. Oh, here we go with this you don't own this field nonsense now. Oh, Giants, I really wish they'd get that fixed, because now I'm not going to really be able to spread. Oh, I'm going to catch this on the wall. Ooh, that's not good for it, huh? So that little corner of this meadow is not going to be slurried, but okay, I'm not going to buy that field just so that I can slurry it. I will live with that the way it is. I think there was one bale in this field when I cut them this time. But again, it's really late in the season, and these fields haven't been maintained. These meadows haven't been maintained or anything. So, you couldn't expect there to be a lot of grass on them. But now that we're taking care of them, we come back around again. Next season to cut them, they'll be in much better shape. I'll probably get 4, 5, 6 bales off of this field. So it's worth it to me, even though it's very small. Where is this opening now? Right here. All right, now we'll take the long drive back to the dairy and drop this off. Now, what do I want to do? Do I want to do the lime spinning right now? And make this episode even longer than it needs to be? Or do we say, okay, well, that's probably enough, call it a day and half an hour? The thing is, I want to get this fall stuff done, this late fall stuff done, because I need it to be winter so that I can, use up some of the silage, use up some of my bales, to sort of jump out of the story. Because that's really how it works. In between seasons, you're left with all this stuff, and if your off season, let's say, is not long enough, then when you start up again in the spring, you have all this stuff left over, and you're like, okay, well, what do I do with it all? You know what I mean? So my off season needs to be long enough that I can use up some of this stuff, and realistically portray what winter would be like. So I really want to get this stuff done. So I think we're going to make this episode a little longer. I will run this back up to the dairy. I will run to the main farm, pick up the fert spinner, fill it up with lime. We'll lime that one field, and then we'll call this an episode. I should probably get Perry going on another field as well. I want to go this way. You know, again, I was having to look at the map in Giants Editor, you know, and the lag is spotty. You know, again, it's that time of the day where the sun is not quite directly overhead, so that causes a little bit of lag. I've got the textures and everything else, so you know, it's part of the deal, unfortunately for me, you know. But it's not so bad that it's unplayable, certainly, you know. And I appreciate you guys sort of putting up with my less than, you know, maybe full pro gamer quality. I really appreciate that, you know. I am, you know, every day I try to make steps to make it better and, you know, to move up to the next big, you know, gaming rig and all that. But with everything that's been going on lately, that really hasn't been much of a priority for me, if I'm going to be completely honest. So every time I come to this roundabout, I think to myself, oh, are you ever going to film that driving school video? Yes, yeah, or driving test video. Yes, I am. You know, as soon as I have a couple of videos I need to render and upload for today, and then I will absolutely be on that driving school video, so, or that driving test video, which should be hilarious. And I've pretty much decided that whatever happens during it happens. If I pass, I pass. If I fail, I fail. Again, you know, the game's not going to tell me whether I pass or fail. I'm going to have to sort of, you know, make that up. But if I completely screw up backing up, or if I crash into somebody in a roundabout or whatever, well, that's probably going to be a fail, right? So I'm sure the inspector will not be thrilled with me if any of those things happen. Oh, this 10-mile-an-hour thing, though. Chad. I tell you what, if I'm going to spread slurry on my fields, and I probably won't, I'll probably spread muck. But I got to get this fixed, so I'm going to have to get another implement, so. Let's see. Might as well park this on the other side of the resort so it's not sticking out into the yard. Probably should take a look at my calves too and see if they need anything. I think they were okay. I again went down the road with the wheels extended. Now in real life, I'm sure there would be some sort of beeping or hollering or, you know, alarm going off to tell you that was happening. So I should just leave them in the transport position because I never remember to put them back after I'm done. All right, park that right there. There we go. And now that that's disconnected, my engine management system will allow me to go as fast as I want. Which is nice. Let's see, do we go move? Yeah, let's go move Perry, first of all. Again, you know, if I could just, you know, I don't know, send a fake text and be like, Perry, go to the next field, you know, that would be awesome. But we all know that's not going to happen, so I will have to do it for him. Did a pretty good job, Perry. I'm not unhappy with that, so. We will go over to field 6 now and get that field done. And, of course, in the spring, whoa, slow down there, Perry. In the spring, I will be combining these fields and reshaping them, you know, to make them a little easier to work. Now, I'm not sure I have a courseplay course for this field, because I know this field and courseplay are not really good friends. But let's find out. Field 6. That's field 1, field 3, field 5, field 6 plow, field 6 spray, field 6 3.1. That will do very nicely. And you can go to the first waypoint, and I have no idea where that is. Obviously you do. It would be awesome if it was somewhere in this area. Let me guess, you're going to try to drive right through that tree, right? Is that going to be a thing? No, it's not going to be a thing. You are going to drive through the hedge, though. This is the main reason. If you look at this course, and obviously I will have to change this course when I plow these fields together, but if you look at this course, you can see why I wanted to pull these two fields together, because he will, when he makes his turn, he will invariably, there used to be a tree right here on this corner. I don't know if you guys can see my mouse cursor or not, but right here in this corner, there was a tree, and he would always get stuck on it. So now, again, you're going to have to suspend your disbelief. He's going to drive through the hedges. I may take those hedges completely out. I don't know. I thought leaving a couple would be, you know, okay. And I want to leave the ones on the edge of this field because there's no need to take them out. So, but I may get rid of that little strip of hedge right there. I guess there's no real need to have it. So, all right, Perry, we need to pick up the speed here a little bit, though. Why is everybody going so slow lately? I do have him set to 3 miles an hour, just because it's a little easier in the long run to get him, you know, for him to go slower. He's less likely to miss stuff, and he's less likely to screw up the turns at the end. So. But in the interest of not making this video take an hour and a half, I will just get him over here and get him started. Drive your course. Go ahead and rip some stubble. Turn those off. Don't need those. And there you go. So, yeah, I like this. I like this ripper a lot. I like this disc. It's nice to have a disc, you know. Obviously, these fields are all probably going to need to be power harrowed and whatnot come spring. So, you can see the soil moisture is 0. The nutrients are still good, but the soil moisture is just completely, you know, horrible. So, hopefully, we can irrigate come springtime. That would be very nice. So, what speed are you set at? Are you still set at 3? Yep, 3 will work. Are you going to drive into this tree, Perry? I swear to you, if you drive into this tree. Perry is a great worker, but man, he relies way too much on the GPS markers, you know? Gotta go that way! Perry's the kind of guy that will, you know, they'll follow his GPS into a ditch and then blame the GPS, so. Okay. Very, very good. I just realized I don't have a thumbnail for this episode, so let's make this the thumbnail, right? Let's get rid of all this stuff and make that go away, and we'll make this the thumbnail once I get out from under that tree. This way? Let's go that way. Quick picture. Very good. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I had to sort of get that done. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do this. We're going to do one more episode of fall, just because this is going to go really long if I don't. In the next episode, we will be spinning lime on the meadows that need it. We will be mucking out the animals. And then that will be it for late fall, early winter here in Old Ridge. As always, guys, thank you so much for all your comments, for all your support, for all your patience with me. It means so much to me. You know, again, I have some personal stuff going on, but hopefully I can sort of get in a frame of mind now where I want to make videos, where I can make videos, where I'm not so distracted that I can't get through a video. If this one was a little flighty, I apologize. You know, as always, let me know what you think. If you like the video, please click the like button. It helps me and the channel out a whole bunch. Moves me up into search recommendations and all of that, and you guys know that. Also, if you saw the thumbnail, Old Ridge Farm, Farming Simulator, you liked it, please click the subscribe button. It's the best way of being notified of when I make a video, which is pretty much every day. And if not, when I'm not having a personal crisis, at least every 2 days. And there are a lot more videos coming down the pipe for this week, I promise. Thank you for all the comments, for the likes, for the subscriptions, for the stuff on the Facebook page, for the Twitter, for the tweets, for being my friends. Thank you so much. That is why I do this. That means everything to me, and thank you. And as always, thank you for making me a part of your YouTube day. And this is the Bipolar Prophet saying, see you later.